I just played every farming simulator ever made, spanning 16 years of gaming, to find out what makes this one of the most beloved franchises ever. Starting with the first Farming Simulator 2008. You ever been curious about what a farmer's life is like? They basically live life the way your parents walk to school. And this game does just that. There are some problems with the game, but I'll get to that in just a minute. So to get the game, I had to go to a German Amazon page and order a CD copy of Landwirtschaft Simulator. Beautiful language, just rolls right off the tongue. First thing you'll notice is how there are only 2 tractors and 2 combines. And I really hope y'all are not allergic to wheat, because there is only wheat. It's like the Wheat Thins mascot decided to make a game. I didn't know they had autonomous Tesla self-driving stuff back then. But the worst thing is the graphics. I mean, look at this. What even is this? The sky looks like it was made in Microsoft Paint, and the wheat looks like bad sand. But the thing that really annoys me, sure, the game is old, but it's not that old. It came out in 2008. This is the same year GTA 4 was released. There is no excuse for the graphics to be this dog water. Honestly, guys, the game just looks sad. It's so empty and plain, it looks like a trashy farming mod for Minecraft. I legit thought I wasn't wearing my contacts when I first played this game, but that's just how bad it looks. Just a year later, we get the groundbreaking Farming Simulator 2009. The first thing you'll notice is how it looks almost exactly like the 2008 version. But that's where you're wrong, bros. Because even though the map is exactly the same, it's been completely remastered. You can now farm corn, canola, and barley. It's exciting! Barley! Corn! You can now farm corn! Canola! What else could you want? But that's not all. You also get new machinery. But it was only released in 2 languages, English and German. Am I just missing something here? Are Germans just known to be really into farming? Surprisingly, when the game came out, there were over 500 YouTube videos about it. Back in 2009, if there were 500 YouTube videos on anything, it meant that it was either really popular or Britney Spears. But the worst thing about this game is that it's still depressing. Wait, what is farming like? My favorite thing is how you have missions. Not objectives, not tasks, missions. This is Farming Simulator, not GTA or Mission Impossible. But everything changed in 2011 when Farming Simulator 2011 came out. Just kidding, it actually came out in 2010. And it did something no other farming simulator did. It connected more farmers than farmers only because it had multiplayer. Okay, maybe it was one multiplayer mode, but still. And they finally did it. They finally added a new map. But hands down, the best thing they added was this one thing. Big moo creatures. Look at these big, beautiful, pixelated beasts. Now you can milk something other than just time. There's some crazy stuff I need to share with you guys, but first, they also added Deutz Fahr and Pottinger. I'm gonna keep it real with you, bros. The machinery looks incredible, except for Deutz Fahr, obviously. The buildings, for some reason, look better than the fields and farms. This is Farming Simulator, not Contractor or Architecture Simulator. Then again, the description literally tells you, assume the role of a farmer experiencing the challenge of 18-hour days running a new farm in the middle of a beautiful rolling countryside. I guess part of that's true. Don't go into this game expecting action, but you'll get to plow and watch some plowing. Guys, I'm pretty sure this is the first game where you spread manure. The game does get boring pretty fast, but then this bad boy came out. This one's kind of weird because it only came out for the mobile phone and the 3DS. Now you can pretend to be a farmer while on a date. Just kidding about the date part. If you're playing Farming Simulator on your phone, you're not going on dates. The biggest problem was that no phone at the time had the battery life to sustain the farmer life that this game demands of you. You'll barely get to plowing before you need to charge your phone again. Now this one coming up changes the entire Farming Simulator genre. Farming Simulator 2013. This time, Farming Simulator's going worldwide, baby. If you thought Farming Simulator for the phone was weird, this pile of horse dung came out on the PlayStation Vita, which just sounds like a multivitamin that PlayStation makes. But let me tell you why this game is the one that's gonna just change everything from here on out. You get a bunch of new vehicles and a new world, but the best thing about this game is it feels alive for the first time. It feels like there's actually a world around you. That's for the crippling debt that comes with real farming. If you had a a wife or girlfriend before this, chances are she probably didn't let you get a tractor or cows or trucks, but now you can vicariously live that life. This is the best farming simulator so far, and even though you'll still be doing tedious stuff like slowly driving up and down a field, you'll get to do really exciting stuff like stealing golf carts, which is apparently not a crime here. And of course, all the stages of cow manure harvesting and cultivation. You start off with some money and equipment, you buy better equipment, and you can have a completely open world. There's even a mod where you can get cars, but this game seriously has a lot of stuff. This game robs you of one of the most essential experiences that come with farming. You no longer have to wait for your plants to grow. You can speed the game up. I mean, look at how much you can speed the games up by. You can transcend time and space. You can be the farmer that figured out time travel. But the essence of farming is waiting for your hard work to bear fruit, literally. If you want to get real green, you can even buy solar panels and you'll get an achievement from Greenpeace. Just kidding, but now you can buy Tesla and make Papa Elon happy. You play this game because you got curious seeing it on the Steam page one day, or I guess if you're weird enough, the App Store. I guess kind of scratch that tiny itch you might have had about what being a farmer is like without actually touching animal poop, and also experiencing the slow passage of time. My favorite thing about this game is that they have a titanium edition. What kind of airline miles BS is this? Don't forget to like and subscribe and support the channel by letting me know in the comments what your guys' favorite brand is. There's a really weird trend emerging with these farming simulators where every other one now comes out on weird devices like phones or the Kindle Fire. That's like playing Need for Speed on a calculator. The controls are terrible. The throttle control to move doesn't work, so half the time I'm just there turning wheels but not going anywhere. Also, for a game this complicated, there's no tutorial. And the graphics look like cow manure. Which I'm actually going to apologize for because that's offensive to cow manure. Because as I've learned from my extensive experience as a farmer, cow manure actually has a lot of uses, unlike this game. But things are starting to look good in Farming Simulator 15. Now this game is interesting. The graphics are great and you can do so many obscure things you never thought about unless you're actually a farmer. Like being able to wash your vehicles and trucks. Who thinks about that when they're playing a video game? But the best thing about this game is you can play how you want. If you have enough money and don't like doing something, you can take advantage of this sweet thing called capitalism and hire people, underpay them, and overwork them. The America map is massive. Do you like making money? Then why on earth did you become a farmer? Sure, you can make money the old school farmer way, or you can make money with this cool new thing called biogas. Yeah, you gotta make that green to get that green. In this game, there are many ways to make money to fund all your plowing needs. But guys, let's take a second and look at this. Look at how realistic the machines look. Nothing boosts your testosterone levels like the feeling of the tractor throttling up and feeling the raw power and tension of tearing through the earth. I think I just grew more hair. No longer are you confined to a farm. Now you can be a menace to the logging and forestry industry. But there are some big downsides with this game. The game at the start moves slower than the line at the DMV. The tutorial is worse at covering things than a One Piece. It honestly might as well not even exist, it's just not helpful. Now this thing right here really grinds my grundle. Speeding up the game doesn't speed up the machinery. So you can read a book, leave weird comments on Twitter, all while your seeder has worked like a quarter of the field. Now this one's a little bit controversial, but just figuring out the mechanics alone will take you like 15 hours. And what is your reward after sinking hundreds of hours into the game? You get to do it all over again the next day. This game is a massive improvement over 14, which is kind of like saying a boiled egg is an improvement over a plate of dried earwax. The most incredible thing is there are no ads in the game. Just try this at home. Try finding a phone game that doesn't have ads or isn't an ad itself.
I've got 80 million power.
Once you figure out how things work, the game is pretty fun. But the worst thing is you can't speed up the game. So you'll literally watch corn grow on an iPhone 4 with the battery life of a baked potato. The driving controls still have some goober tendencies, which sucks because like 90% of the game is driving. If the controls work, the game is, kind of good and fun. But if they don't, it's unplayable. This is one of the ones that really got a lot of people interested in the farming sim community. Farming Simulator 17. This is the perfect game if you want to escape that monotonous existential void that is your daily life. And with Farming Simulator 17, we also got the start of esports, with about a dozen teams who are actually sponsored by farming equipment companies, going head to head in 3v3 matches to see who can get the highest score for dropping off hay bales. There's no way. Before I started this video, I never thought I'd enjoy farming for 20 hours a day, vicariously through a game. It's just you, your tractors, your equipment, and your animals. And this time, there's a lot of each. Now, the biggest thing is the game does have a massive learning curve, but if you give it the time that it deserves, it'll reward you with a massive and weird amount of satisfaction. And if you're like me, you'll catch yourself Googling random things about how farmers do things while you're on the toilet or during a boring dinner. There's a lot of things that are new in this game. You get a built-in mod hub for easier modding, you can dump your seed everywhere, the graphics just keep getting better and better, and it's so satisfying mowing your beautiful field. Is it a waste of time? Sure, why would you spend hours a day mowing a virtual field when you can go out and mow a real lawn and make real money? Because mowing a real lawn means you have to touch grass. We don't do that around here. And the thing every man wants deep down inside? More tractors and equipment. This right here is the cure to male boredom. Give a man a big tractor and some farm equipment and just watch testosterone peaking. This is the real male performance enhancer. There's more depth and stages to processes like fertilization, being 3 stages now. You can even cut down virtual trees, but it gets even better because you can cut them down into logs or turn them into chips and sell them. Yeah, you get to experience everything wood has to offer. But the best thing about this game has to do with all the animals you get to take care of. Actually, it's not even the animals, it's that sweet brown gold that comes out of the animals. But we need to talk about the AI. Massive improvement over the last games. Hired workers do the jobs that you're paying them to do, and they don't just randomly run around and get stuck in weird places. I spoke too soon. They still get stuck. The vehicles handle like a toy car you get inside of an old cereal box. It just doesn't feel like you're driving a massive beast. But we'll find out if they fix this in the later ones coming up. Okay, so at this point, phones are getting better. So is this finally the one that's worth draining your battery for? I know I keep saying phones for these games, even though you can play them on the 3DS and the Vita, but if you're out in public and you whip out one of those and you start grinding at farming, you've touched less grass than a seahorse. The graphics are still ass. Why are the sunflowers flat like some 3-year-old cut them out of a coloring book? The movements are still stiffer than a full body cast. You know those games that make you grind and the grind isn't even fun? Maybe it's because my arm is literally getting a workout from steering, but the grind here is just not fun. This game is very different than all the others in one aspect. How are the drivers getting more dumb? Why do they drive like they're blindfolded and have their foot tied to the gas pedal? These farming simulators coming up have some things that are so weird and detailed, you never thought you could actually do them in a game. Do you want to know why this Farming Simulator game is the best one ever made? You get to pet dogs. Farming Simulator 2008 gave me depression, and this game cured it. It's normal to find people sinking thousands of hours into this, but look at this guy. Almost 17,000 hours. I don't know much about this guy, but I can infer that the only grass he has touched are the ones on his virtual farm. That's literally playing the game for 8 hours a day for 6 years straight. This game is hard to describe, let me tell you why. First, it'll replace all your addictions. You'll forget things like wanting a girlfriend, and soon you'll forget what a woman looks like.
Girls? I want to see men!
You'll know exactly how much corn and barley you've planted. The maps are actually fun to explore and detailed. The sound is improved and the rain actually sounds like rain and not just some dude spitting into a cup. Also, the tractor engine sounds are just... This time, there's a lot of brands. Nothing like more farming brands to get me bricked up. This franchise has helped me fight my addictions. I used to be addicted to being social and going outside and interacting with people, talking to females. I don't need that anymore. Getting sun? The only sun I need now is the one rising over my farm. But there are some big problems with the game. This game has more bugs than a roadside motel. Okay, maybe not that many, but there are some weird bugs like this one. The graphics are pretty much the same as the last one. The hired workers are not useless, but they are pretty much as close to useless as you can possibly get. They're lazier than a sloth on sleeping pills, and still get randomly stuck all the time. Yeah, I'm being nitpicky, but that's because these games are all about detail. I don't think any of us were prepared for this next farming simulator coming up. This is the weirdest farming simulator game ever made. The hardest thing about this game is actually getting it, because the only copies I found command outrageous prices. I mean, look at this! How is this thing $1,000? I love how it says limited edition, like it's a surprise that no one would buy a $1,000 game for a computer with the computing power of a toaster. And oh my god, what a surprise. The game looks like... The worst part is, I have no idea what bits are, but I'm pretty sure I can count the number of them on screen, and that's not a good thing. And what's up with the neon synthwave font here like it's GTA Vice City? The actual worst part is that the game only has a two-color palette, green and brown. Even the houses are shades of green. Oh, and there's this thing that looks like a pen leaked ink into the monitor. The weirdest thing I started noticing is that everything other than the farm vehicles and grain is static. There's also no in-game music or sounds, which I think we should honestly be grateful, because I don't think whatever sounds this pile of manure would make would be good. But who needs that when you have the hair-growing sounds of your engine groaning the whole time? Surprisingly, there's also no choice when it comes to the crops you grow, no weather, and not even an objective or mission. This game is about as engaging as a stale fart. The most annoying thing is, why is my tractor the same color as the dung I'm spreading? I don't know, couldn't they have made it red or literally any other color? I know I talked a lot about movement with the other games. I take it all back. The tractor in this game moves like a glitchy hockey puck on a rusty air hockey table. Okay, first off, why do the graphics look worse here? You only get 4 helpers, which kind of sucks because you need a lot more of them to offset the lack of intellect. Oh, and in case you're cold, this game turns your phone into a hand warmer too. Farming Simulator is supposed to be a soothing game that you come home to after the stresses of the day. But this game has me so stressed I almost want to take up drinking. You get more equipment, the cockpit view is cool, and making money is fun, but we don't do that around here. Is there such a thing as perfection? Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel, Keanu Reeves, and Farming Simulator 2022. This game gives you the entire farming experience. But why is this the best farming simulator game ever made? For starters, the game added the most number of useful features that fans had been asking for years. Finally, there's the option of having seasons, so you have to plant your plants according to the calendar. But the best part of this is now you can get seasonal pricing for the stuff you sell, making your income more predictable. And you get my favorite thing, production chains. You can now even compete with these weird cereals that taste like the box they came in. Truly the craziest thing about this game is the level of detail. Now, keeping old equipment means more maintenance costs later down the line, which is why, like Jeremy Clarkson always says, Lambo is the way. And if it's a Lambo, you don't replace it, you just make a rap song out of it. Wait, rap song? Or is it just rap? You can even see the gear shifting, which just gives you more testosterone than a bodybuilder in a locker room. The sounds are better too. Everything sounds more realistic. Listen to this. And if you're a broke boy like me on that Equate brand budget, you can now buy used equipment. But there are still some weird bugs. If I had $1 for every time I complained about the workers, I'd have enough to pay them a living wage. You'll need to hire workers just to help your other workers get unstuck. Another year, another mobile port, but this one's interesting. There are only 2 speeds, full speed and no speed. The lighting's kind of weird, and sometimes it's really dark even though it shouldn't be. When the game's not randomly crashing and freezing, it actually looks and plays good. There are paywalls, but come on, it's 2024. There are paywalls for everything. The worst part is there's no multiplayer, unless you consider playing with the other weird guy at the bus station multiplayer. There is more depth to this, but as with every other mobile port for this franchise, it's just a watered down version of the PC console versions. Before I start, there's one thing I really need to address. This guy is really weird.
Welcome to our lovely farm, kiddo. I'm glad you're here to continue.
Why are you so weird, Walter? No wonder your son doesn't want to have a good relation with you. The weirdest thing that creeps me out about him the most isn't that his eyes just follow you around like one of those paintings. The man turns his whole body to face you every time. You're freaking weird, Walter. Now I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. I don't know how to feel about this game. There are some really annoying things, like when you first launch the game, you're greeted with this massive stutter. I've heard it's because the shader cache is loading, but it'd be nice if Giants was like, hey, this is a thing that happens. It's not your computer just deciding to have a seizure randomly. Because I spent the whole time thinking of ways to burn my 3090 because it can't even handle a farming sim anymore. But the big problem with this game is it's just not worth it at full price. For a few reasons. The biggest one is that it just feels like a reskin of Farming Sim 22. But the saddest thing about this game is that it just had so much potential. It could have gone so much deeper with things like real career progression, more ways to get involved with all these animals that they keep introducing, like, I don't know, shearing, or even the process of birth. The most confusing thing about this game is the menu, and that's saying something. I've spent 10 minutes here now, and I'm pretty sure, I'm convinced you can't change the graphics settings. There's also weird texture glitches that kind of take away from the immersion, but I'm sure they'll be patched out. The most annoying thing that really chafes my grundle is the walking and running. It's so weird. It's honestly hard to describe, but it looks and feels like you're slipping on banana peels the whole time. Full disclosure, guys, I suck at driving in this game. I've grown up with GTA as my driving instructor, even after having played 24 farming sim games. I am still trying to decondition myself and drive the way the game wants me to, but I'm still getting stuck every few seconds. But it's not all bad. Like how plowing into the earth feels more authentic than before. The ground deformation is awesome. The machines and equipment all look great. The engines can brick up an old man. And even small things like the rays of light and shadows look good. So is it a good game? We have to take that question in two parts. Is it a better version of Farming Sim 22? Yeah. Is it a good standalone game worth full price? Depends how often you like to interact with humans. But even if you don't like the game, there is still hope because of one group of dedicated degens, the modding community. As we've seen, they've been there from the beginning, and they'll come through again just like they have before.